So in this way, with the single-pointed devotion of one's body, speech, mind to Guru Pema Sambhava and carry through the prayer and doing the supplication. So as I explained you about the Guru Pema Sambhava's life history, of course you know that how important about Guru Pema Sambhava. So Guru Pema Sambhava, that during this Shakyamuni Buddha's period of time, came to India and went to Tibet and then brought all these, Tantric Vajrayana teachings. Just the history is not just only that.
Karva pod maybe naroni, two sonji sheva mombachi tata, citizens on the drink the sune, tea nibage, Teriji Kapjidana Koki Solina, Tango Moche Motopemi Bole Tune, Shaikavaches.
So countless eons time before that, countless Buddhas that carry through the chanting of the seven-line prayer, through which that Guru Pema Sambhava, reborn as a spontaneous rebirth in the Tanakosha lake.
Sidin Sunday, Guru Moji Sun Gavamare, Tisum Sonji Shiva, Mobaji, Sanji, the Sun Gavachari, Shindanese and Lapchimoris.
So the seven-line prayer is not taught by Guru Pema Sambhava, but it is expressed by countless, many thousands of Buddhas. So the prayer itself has great deal of blessing.
Tengurum Bachi, the Sun Sonji, Shinjilani, Turguvadi Karesana, Sentinanji Kanji, Gelatene, Chepardo, Songot. Shepherd Zobachim, which is soon be Chedu, so Janogit, teacher to Gavares.
So, why that Guru Pema Sambhava manifested in this way is on purpose of that how all the sentient beings they can liberate from the suffering of samsara through the practice of Vajrayana teachings, and according to that, all the Buddhas manifested in form of Guru Pema Sambhava. In general, that in enlightened beings, there is a Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya, three kayas.
Sanje Chuku Chalujan Sanjin Zambolin and Zepatuni Sutani, Chisung Chijikolokovare, Tichikolokorat, and Doran Dondo de Dongambade, so the Nesson de Sungiris.
So according to the Nirmanakaya Buddhas that who just manifest on this earth and then give all these teachings on Vinaya Sutra and Abhidhamma Sutra and then Sutra itself, that mainly depending upon the Sutrayana teachings.
Sanjay ki kasu doja nan kasu pamne songo ji che sunguna yor yendong. In
case Buddha need to teach Vajrayana teachings, then also that manifested in form of Sambhogakaya, and also that travel to different pure lands, and in that way the Vajrayana teachings are taught, not in form of the Nirmanakaya.
Jagarji Sane Mombol is long of the Chief Sun, long Kichachi Sun, Chepat and Aronso, Tinkor Tangiana, Dada Losuni, Pardon Rebuche Tensatine, then Lonseto Kichachi, then there's a Timo Maiban on the Sun Remato, Niente Basher, Seung, Tenong, Teo Tugiamaris.
So even that Shakyamuni Buddha in general, that being teaching the Vajrayana Dharma teachings, that which mainly in India, in many pure places, specifically about the Kala Chakra Tantra, that which is taught in South India, which is the place named as the Chogen, the Debu. It is a place in South India, and that manifested in form of Sambhogakaya, not as a Nirmanakaya. So for that purpose, through the blessings of all the past, present, future Buddhas, manifested in form of Guru Padma Sambhava. So in a way, the difference between the Sutrayana and the Vajrayana, that according to Sutrayana, as you just receive this teaching and then concentrate into actual meditation practice, and then about 3 countless eons lifetime, that one could liberate and attain enlightenment.
So Gonza Ombo Radon Demachi, Gizamba Radon Demachi, Nansulena, Seti Luchi, Losum Shosum Da to Seti Luchi Sunguris.
So, according to the Vajrayana, the tantric practices that mainly depending upon the highest level of mind or the sharpest faculty, with the greatest effort and diligence, and in that way, if one just carry through the practice properly, that there is the possibility that one can attain enlightenment or liberation within one lifetime, or even within just a few years.
Tomar Shannon, Tatiki Par, Tadane Maobaji Par, Kula Shechi Digital Travaris.
So, in this way, Guru Padma Sambhava, that from the beginningless time till to endless time, that his body is beyond any death and birth.
Ngasi Nongole, Metopin Bonnet, Sherry Surdon. Then Lon Simbi Lato Shambi Surden, Ngasi Nongole, Tangi and Madonna, Kui Hitchcore, Digu Kaidu Yamars.
But according to our own appearance or perspective, that Guru Padma Sambhava just appears, that born in the lotus and then in the direction of northwest, but in reality, that his body is beyond any death and birth. So that is why, every time you just carry through the supplication prayer of seven-line prayer, that is supplicating to Guru Padma Sambhava. We, as a sentient being, the ordinary beings, is somehow a very negative karma we have, that we always have so much doubts and hesitations. So even it is very clearly taught in these Dharma teachings, but still we have so much doubts and hesitations, that thinking, is that according to the teaching or not, or one can achieve any accomplishment or not. In that way we have so much doubts. So this the path for the liberation and then the enlightenment, somehow that oneself not falling properly and just bind into the samsara. So that is why that all these teachings taught by Guru Padma Sambhava and Shakyamuni Buddha, there is really don't need even tiny bit of doubt. If we have all these doubts, there may be no any time that we could accomplish with the Dharma practice.
Pena no so de ajengamo bomela so ni topana so top lo teson do against market about do jimba so atanduna shindo de ajel shindo gross.
For example, like if we constantly carry through prayer and worship to Amitabha Buddha for our rest of life, and then when the actual death happens to us, definitely our consciousness can be reborn or transferred to Amitabha Pure Land.
Yena yung tesang sanduna deva je she kagir gase she na medo bemi non Sudu mazu shelo ne mazarwa lo mombo ne do gere tesam jita tin.
But if we have any sort of doubts, then that is one main obstruction that even we could not really reborn in Amitabha Pure Land, and possibly through all those prayer, even we could reborn in Amitabha Pure Land, then we are again just closed inside the lotus flower, that which may not just open for a long period of time. It is all because of the doubts. So that is why try not to have any sort of doubt, and just have determination to carry through these Dharma practices. There is not necessary that oneself being just creating one's own problem and just binding oneself by the ropes.
Namdrolling Monastery rong shiwo ne gangle medan guru sonde jitsu namdrolling medan guru rong hingan guru moje sata o tende jit gene medan guru ndale te medan guru no tata sawata bitu kore.
So then we will carry through the accumulation of the Bhajar Guru mantra. As we do this accumulation, then sometimes we visualize Guru Karma Sambhava above our head as the object of refuge and object of the prayer, and sometimes visualize in your heart as the just receiving the complete blessing. In this way we accumulate the Bhajar Guru mantra. So one have to visualize and meditate that one's root guru inseparable with the Guru Karma Sambhava.
Oma hum medan guru Pema sidi oma hum medan guru Pema sidi oma hum medan guru Tujen lama la sonde shibit mendran guru tenatan noid sa wansa o tendele tenen ngata don te tende sorwa potu tanne jando aton jil deba mugisen te sorwa ta tende jena jenla binyo to bigi bayoris.
So the Bhajar Guru mantra, which is the supplication prayer to Guru Karma Sambhava, as we do this prayer, that we need to have very strong devotion and very diligently carrying through this prayer with the very sincere mind, and with one single pointed devotion, as if almost like oneself is kind of faint away. And that way, if we just do the prayer with all this melody, then it also helps to receive the blessing faster.
Karesena, pugu chunju, nyam taba desu, pama lemben, teni langsang pama yom tum betu shedi, pugu ngule abama se bagi was, di juan rajeres.
For example, like these small children or kids that when they have any problem or suffering, then they just call their parents, and even that parents could not just come immediately, then they just cry, and that is how they just call their parent, similar like that.
Charsu Sonji Kovor Mojima Sujipat, Shane Tito Jurade, Lovan Chimboros.
So the Guru Pema Sambhava is the our ultimate object of refuge until we could attain complete enlightenment.
Loni Tonson Dele Parjanwas and Shellson Sunday Tasatu, the Regin then Mata Lutayon Davashel, the nation saw out to bed, Nipachimoris.
So these supplication prayers to Guru Pema Sambhava with one's full heart and devotion, and even just with these tunes that even certain places where they are kind of very quiet and remote area, and one can do this prayer to Guru Pema Sambhava. But if you do, just in this way, just chanting in the city, then, the people may say you are crazy, and then police may catch you up.
In a satu dene noni di teba migushi sonde ngata nyemoshe tabana and degrees.
But some remote area, more quiet places, and then with the full devotion and very diligently and with the best tunes, in that way, carry through the supplication prayer.
Imbala rong tai lama nambala ngurun boshi tela tu sumji sonje tonji dindu tenji gamba dengan terwas.
So according to the Guru Yoga practice, as it has been already taught that how we visualize that Guru Pema Sambhava as inseparable with the one's route to master. So one's route to teacher in form of Guru Pema Sambhava, and in which one have full devotion.
No, that all
So now we are going through the prayers of receiving the 4 empowerments. So try to have devotion.
Shituni di dina sanje tanje diva trinchen zayelan kule wazare karwo kanda nungye de rongi songi tuje songi tende chibu wong yele bon son kerong seong wong yele tende tin
So in this way, receive the 4 empowerments: bath empowerment, cigarette empowerment, and wisdom empowerment and word empowerment. And then at the end, just requesting, just be kindly hold us in the root Guru's heart. So, however, whatever sorts of initiation or empowerments are existing, that most of the great empowerments have, these 4 divisions. So, in this way, we are receiving the 4 complete empowerments through the Guru Yoga practice. So as you know that when you visualize Guru Rinpoche inseparable with one's root master, it is just facing in this way, and through that, how you receive all the blessing, just not in front or any other else.
That's what I get to understand.
Because lots of people ask how we have to visualize Guru Rinpoche facing to us, facing to that or facing to north, so that is why just explaining this. So in general, there is the generation stage known as in-front visualization and then the self-visualization. But in front is just which you visualize in front. But here we are visualizing above your head. Some say that to receive the 4 empowerments, facing Guru Rinpoche this way, coming to light, it is so difficult. It is nothing difficult. It is just you visualize in this way, receiving the lights. There are many who say just, it is more easy if we visualize Guru Rinpoche in front, just above head is more difficult. So you receive and visualize that the light coming from this way to body, speech, mind. There is no any difficulty. So, the most important part is that, as explained earlier, not to have that doubt, but concentrating one's mind based on the visualization, receiving these, 4 empowerments. Then they going to lama the 2 years there is the beginning, don't need again. Two don't raise some beginning, don't get it by yours. Now it is the just mingling of the Guru's enlightened mind with one's nature, so that think and have the sense of feeling that it is just mingled together as one, and then meditate in emptiness. In general, one can directly carry through meditation practice on emptiness. Is okay, but there are also that difficulties or just obstacles. And if one just think and visualize that one's master or Guru Rinpoche's, that enlightened mind just being mingled together with one's, just nature of mind, that way one can receive the blessing and there is no any fault. Tani dena rongla demba jo ritun guru vayo rongla ten guru kusong tudong inga yesa yeme didu nimen do jemba la. So now from today onward, that our 1 year, that part of practice, that 1 month retreat is beginning. So for the first year that we have this window, the 4 foundation practice. For the second year, the Talung practice. So according to the window, the 4 foundation practices, that one have to accumulate, complete those accumulations, that where we could have enough purification and enough accumulations. For example, like if there is a mirror which is with so much stains and dust, if you look into it, you cannot just see your face properly. So if you clean it properly, and then you can have your image more clear.
They live did it, there are two members of the village did it, Jeremato, say, village did it, Maris.
So these karmic obscurations is like a countless lifetimes that how we have accumulated. It is not just only like one lifetime obscurations.
They in a Monga church did it to say a covers.
So that is why just only doing about 500,000 times of the 1 to 4 foundation practice that we could just purify everything is more very difficult.
So Perji Lama Des okay.
Even in the past, many of our just lamas and practitioners, they just carry through these 4 foundation practice and just 500,000 times many. It is just because somehow we really need to purify all the karmic obscurations. And just thinking that I don't have any karmic obscuration and thinking oneself pure and having an ego, it does not really purify anything. And even the bodhisattvas, the realized beings, they also just carry through the purification, and we all are just a very ordinary being. Of course, we need those purifications. Thinking that I don't have any fault, I didn't just kill anybody or I didn't steal, that does not help at all. We have to really purify like a countless, beginningless lifetimes, obscuration. So if we really think that we want to liberate from the suffering of cyclic existence, then the only method is to carry through the Dharma practice. And for Dharma practice, the most important is how we can purify all this obscuration. So even within our lifetime, just how many sorts of problems and difficulties are just happening, sickness and not fulfilling our wishes. This all because of the karmic obscuration. So we feel, all different kinds of sickness and all sorts of, problem and not getting fulfilled with our just daily works and so forth. All these problem or difficulties are arising because of the karmic obscuration, nothing else. Even you examine, one's own mind, it does not really stay or still, even like, one moment. And whatever we have all these thoughts, mostly it is based on those attachment and aversion that it is very, very rare we could have, such as positive thoughts as devotions and, faith and so forth. Even sometimes one thing, one accumulate one round mala of Omani Pema, and then today I have accumulated lots of Omani Pema. And when you carry through practice and visualization, then most of the time you are asking, how many times we have to accumulate and how long we have to just do this practice. So just to fulfill or feel happy about what you thought, then just explain, or you can just accumulate this much. So actually that one have to do this practice, and that until we could purify our karmic obscurations and having the accomplishment of the deity. And whatever sorts of our worldly activities we may do, there is no end. So that we have to do today and tomorrow and this year and next year, and just as we think, we have to do this work, like our whole lifetime. And even not wasting, 1 or 2 hours, still we just work. And that is all just we work for, to earn some, our finance. But the actual practice of the Dharma is for, ultimate peace and happiness. And I'm not just teasing or being mean to you, but that if there is no limit for the worldly activities, then how you can just say limit about the Dharma practice? Anyhow, in general, you all are just pretty good, so thank you very much. And also just the 4 foundation practices, that 400,000 or 500,000 times which you need to accumulate, just have diligence and concentrate and try to really accumulate, try to finish it. Just don't depend upon only counting the numbers. So always been explained to you that, think for the benefit of, all sentient beings, not just concentrating for one's own, just benefit. There will be no any real, just benefit for oneself that way. Even in the past, all these, Mahasiddhas, the great masters, it doesn't mean that they don't have the samsara or they don't have their family. They just, really dedicate and then, carry through the practice. And that way, all these realized beings, they also get accomplished with the practice, and then at the same time, they could just, benefit great deal of, sentient beings. So every time just I expressing about the bodhicitta, so it is just always important to generate the bodhicitta. While we are on the path, how much we could generate the bodhicitta, that much is greater when we accomplish with our fruition. And for example, like this, worldly, business and all sorts of, activities, that there is no any time that we could just really get any satisfaction. And for the Dharma, that still one need to have much greater view in that way. And in the future, when we have the accomplishment of the fruition, then that, the fruition is also that much vast. So it is important to try to just abandon and get rid of the self-attachment. And whatever that through our body, speech, mind, the Dharma practice we do, think that oneself, practicing to liberate all the apparently sentient beings from the suffering of cyclic existence. And according to that, in the future, one could also have same the fruition. So it is also very important to examine one's mind. So this our mind, our own individual mind is not obscure to oneself, that we know and we understand. So in that way, to just to train your mind is very important. For example, like if I say somebody just, your just way of walking is not right, way of talking is not right, and your way of doing is not right, of course, somebody may get mad at me. But if we just turn insight to our mind and examine and correct in that way, then there is nothing that we can be angry. One's own mind cannot be angry for one's own mind. So then, as we do usually, that Ngando, the fourth foundation, and then after that, Tolung, and then Dzogchen Tegel. In Dzogchen Tegel, there is the preparation, instruction, and then the actual, practice. After that, then there is the texture teaching instructions. But anyhow, that how your minds are, I'm not exactly sure. But anyhow, this year, as the preparation of the texture, going to give instruction on the Shine, the Shamatha meditation. So for that, there is no anything, any sort of like, just a Tunkur exercise, but it is just a contemplation. Those the shamatha receiving, those who finished the second year, the Dzogchen Tegel practice, they will receive, not others. And when these the practices, if you could just do properly, then after that there are other more strict retreats and then the daily generation practices. So this why I have this center and temple here is mainly for the purpose of you guys, that you could do a good practice. So we don't have anything about politics to talk or anything about business to carry through. So that is why just doing the Dharma practice, it is just very important for us. So as you could just carry through the practice, properly as it is taught in these, Dharma teachings, then we could be, possible we could have that, liberation. So that is main, and that is our main concern.
Okay, thank you. parkundu zombola chantalot, tomingombo chukundu zombola doba chimichetonji, tomar kundu zombola chantalot.